Chapter 9. The Use of the Spiritual or Superconscious Mind. We have already seen that the subconscious mind, wonderful though it be, is instinctive merely, lacking inspiration and what we call originality. All inspiration comes from the universal mind via the superconscious. All poets and inspired writers get their inspiration in this way. The higher mind is nor recognized by psychologists, but it has long been known to searchers of spiritual truth. What we get from the subconscious is the outcome of facts and knowledge supplied to it. What we get from the superconscious is direct inspiration from higher planes. This higher mind might also be called the mind of illumination, for those who can enter into it become illumined, being able to know the truth and to see things as they really are and not as they falsely appear to the senses. This limited consciousness in which we live is bounded by our five senses. The universe that we see around us is partly real and partly an illusion. The real universe is spiritual and infinite. What we sense is a limited, partial conception of a fragment of it. Our limited, finite conception of the universe is entirely misleading and erroneous, and so long as we rely on sense evidence and the human mind, we remain in darkness and uncertainty. When, however, we can rise into the superconscious realm, our consciousness expands, transcending the senses and the limitations of the physical plane. The spiritual mind is, of course, only accessible to those who are more delicately attuned to its finer vibrations. Nothing that is worth having can be had without effort, and it is only after much self-discipline that it becomes possible for the student to raise his consciousness to this higher realm and understand life from the standpoint of the universal mind. There is nothing either mystical or psychical about the use of this higher mind. One who makes use of it becomes spiritually minded. That is all. He does not go into trances, nor need he become clairvoyant. He simply remains a sane, normal individual, with this difference only. He makes use of more of his mind than does the ordinary individual. One who is able to use this higher mind develops that which has been termed the divine quality of originality. If ever a person is to rise above the dead level of mediocrity, it must be through direct inspiration from higher planes, through his superconscious mind. If ever a person is to bring forth a new idea which shall enrich humanity and add to the common good, it must come through the higher mind. One who is properly attuned becomes through the superconscious mind a recipient of knowledge that is above human and wisdom that is divine. He knows by direct knowing. He becomes wise through an influx of divine wisdom. He is able to distinguish between the real and the sham, between the gold and the dross. He is able to see and recognize the right path in life, a thing utterly impossible to the mind of the senses, and to tread it, thus being led into the only true success and real good of which his life is capable. Let it be said here that all wisdom must come from within. While books and the written word may be helpful, it is the spirit within the reader that illumines the word, and makes it real and true to the seeker after wisdom. One who realizes that he is illumined within by the Divine Spirit, and that this alone can bring him into real knowledge, is well advanced on the path that leads to realization. The wisdom of the human mind always leads to disappointment. It is based on the evidence of the senses, which is erroneous. Therefore, its findings must always be lacking in real wisdom. One who relies upon the inspiration of divine wisdom has often to decide to take a course of action which apparently is opposed to his best interests. Yet, if he follows the inward wisdom, he finds that he is always guided aright, and later has cause to be devoutly thankful that he followed the gleam. End of this chapter.